it's your girl Valhalla. I'm back for another video, yay! And of course you're excited because we're here together again. It's awesome. And I'm always excited because why not? I love to be here. So, tonight we're going to talk about something. Well, tonight, today, tomorrow, yesterday, this morning, this evening, whatever time it is. Going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart because I do get, as a mom of four, I get a lot of questions about parenting. And the number one thing I say is, just because I have 4 kids doesn't make me an expert in parenting. It makes me an expert in failing birth control. Which I'm glad I did, but it doesn't make me an expert in anything. Except sometimes my own kids. Sometimes I get it right with them. But I can't guarantee I'll get it right with yours. But people like to ask a lot of advice, a lot of parenting advice. Most of the time they don't like what I have to say. That's fine. But the one thing I notice over and over and over is, and that's why I wanted to address it, is the frustration that so many parents have when dealing with their kids. That there's a lot of, you should know better, you're too old, you should know better than this, you know how to behave. Bemoaning constantly all over social media about how they had to whip their child's butt because they climbed on top of something or pulled down a bin out of the shelves or whatever. Just talking about, they don't listen, it's so hard. And then you find out the kids are quite young. Okay, if my 14-year-old came in and grabbed a bin off of the entertainment center and dumped it all over the floor, the fuck is going on? Because at 14, they know we don't do that, but it's also been years since that's even been an issue because they're 14 now. And even with my 9-year-old, he will pull stuff off because he has toys up there, but then he puts them back. He doesn't just dump stuff all over the place. But even, and I tell him, I'm like, well, it's because parenting is fucking work. It's, imagine the hardest dog you ever had to train and then give him mood swings and, the need to exist solely off of goldfish crackers and their mom's tears. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. They hit 3 and they're just walking middle fingers. It's insane. That's why it's really good that they're so cute. And I really just, it does my head in. I don't understand how people think you can just tell the kid something one time and then that's it. You taught him, you explained it, and then you proceed to punish the shit out of them, when they don't get it right. Here's the deal. Okay, you send your kid to school for usually they start, so they'll go to kindergarten. So 13 years at least. And that's if you don't start sending them sooner. You wouldn't expect them to finish 13 years of schooling in that first year, in kindergarten or pre-K. It's a continuous, okay, we're talking they go 5 days a week, 32 weeks a year for, 13 years. So that to learn, to reinforce, to build on the skills. So why do you think you can sit there one time and tell them we don't pull bins off the shelves? and then sit there on your ass on your phone, not wanting to get up and do anything. Like, stop it. They are learning and they're little kids. First, what I would suggest is really honest to God learning about child appropriate behavior. Learn that they're not doing this at you. They're not being bad. They're not, trying to piss you off on purpose. It's not the way their brains work. Not at that point. Not at the age I'm talking about anyway. Young kids, they're not wired that way. And I see a lot of people punishing and like bullying their little children because they're just frustrated to no end. What will help you immensely is changing your perception. Don't worry about changing your kid yet. Change you. Learn about child appropriate behavior. Learn about childhood development. Just a little bit, just enough to gain some understanding and a change of perspective to where you don't feel like they're just doing everything at you. And once you have that, and once you understand how they learn and how their brains are developing, and then you can kind of get an idea of how better to focus on activities of daily living and on the chores that you want to have them to do, or, start out as you intend to carry on. If you are always going to, want certain rules to be followed, then yes, work on those. But you don't need to punish them because, so many studies have shown whether you spank your kid, like the behavior you're trying to spank out of your kids will diminish actually sooner if you don't spank them, because it's behaviors that they outgrow because their brain develops enough that they have impulse control and they can, actually think about what they're doing. They can have some delayed gratification. They start to develop empathy. So you just have to reinforce it. You just have to work on it. And it may be, there are going to be days where you feel like all you've done is like redirect and, get them, move them to other situations or go over and, help them and explain to them 50 million times, like if you're telling them you don't want them to climb on the chair. Some days the chair is going to be really appealing. They're going to try to climb up there like 11 million times, and you're just going to be over there the whole time, pulling them out of this chair. But I can tell you, without ever, getting too worried about it, my oldest doesn't do shit like that anymore at 14. My 9-year-old doesn't do, his stuff is more just like hyper boy stuff, but he doesn't do the same kind of stuff that like my 3-year-old does, and my 5-year-old does not, it does not do the same kind of stuff like that my 3-year-old does. So it gets, it gets better, and it gets better quick if you just kind of get out of the negative thought cycle of how bad this is or what a pain in the ass it is. It'll be okay. Love them, put them in a bath once in a while, scrub off the dirt, feed them, kiss them, cuddle them, feed them some snacks, take them to the park, give them another bath, lather, rinse, repeat. It's fine. You don't, as long as you reinforce the good stuff, they'll outgrow all the stuff that irritates you, and then they'll develop whole new behaviors that will irritate you even more because they get older, and then they actually get like that you're not great and all powerful and perfect, and then they get really pissed. So You know, this is not the time to worry. This is the time to enjoy it. Yeah, but it's work. It's work. You have to put in the work. You're going to have to really get that change of perspective about your kids and just view it as like a really great opportunity, not as this really horrible burden with these little dictators that are doing this at you. No, these are people who are going to grow into adults that you want to foster an amazing relationship with now, so that when they don't have to be around you, they still want to be around you. So that's it for right now. Be sure to give a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, but of course you haven't. But if you haven't, alright, subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comment section down below, you know, and hey, we might have another video on this depending on what the comments show. So that's it for tonight. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.